Resuming debate, the Honourable Member for St. John South Mount. Pearl.
Madam Speaker, it is a privilege that I rise today to speak in favour of this bill, Zachary's bill. I want to focus on some circumstances around the case that has brought the issue of detention in custody to the forefront. It is a case which has shocked and shaken the confidence many people have in the Child Protective Services and the justice system. In particular, I want to look at some of the findings of the Turner Child Death Review conducted by Dr. Peter Markstein for the Child, Youth and Advocates Office in Newfoundland and Labrador. In doing this, I intend to provide members of this House with some additional background information about this case and emphasize the need to make the changes, such as those being proposed here today. Andrew Bagby was studying at Memorial University when he met Shirley Turner, a fellow medical student, 12 years his senior. They dated for about a year before leaving Canada to practice in the United States, she in Iowa and he in Pennsylvania. According to reports, in the week before Andrew Bagby was killed, he told Turner that their relationship was over. On the day before Andrew Bagby's murder, Turner drove the 950 miles to confront him. They agreed to meet in a park after his hospital shift. The next day, a park visitor found Andrew Bagby's body in the parking lot. He was shot 5 times. Zachary Turner was born after his father's death, as his mother fought extradition to the United States, where authorities wanted to try her for the murder of the child's father, Dr. Andrew Bagby. Shirley Turner was let out on bail. A judge determined that Turner had presented no indications of a psychological disorder that would give concern about harm to the public. This was done despite no psychiatric evaluation being ordered by the court, and the Crown did not present any evidence collected by the U.S. authorities on what they described as Turner's emotional instability. While out on bail fighting extradition, Shirley Turner walked into the icy waters of Conception Bay while holding Zachary Turner. Both drowned. The Child Advocates Office in Newfoundland and Labrador appointed Dr. Peter Markstein to conduct the child death review into the case in 2005. Dr. Markstein is a very qualified and has extensive experience in conducting child and adult death reviews. He had worked as a consultant to the Federal Department of Justice on several cases, and he taught at the Faculty of Medicine at several Canadian universities. Dr. Markstein conducted interviews and read various documents about Turner and found many cases indicating that she had personality and emotional problems before committing the murder of her son. The findings of the report, which was released on October of 2006, are shocking. In reference to Zachary and Turner's daughter from another relationship, the head of the review noted, and I quote, "Nowhere did I find any ongoing assessment of the safety needs of the children." The child advocate for the province of Newfoundland and Labrador at the time of the release of the report summed it up by saying Zachary Turner's death was preventable, and Zachary was in his mother's care when he should not have been. While the terms of reference under which the review was conducted did not examine how Turner was able to obtain bail from the Newfoundland Supreme Court, Dr. Markstein did raise questions about how bail was granted and recommended that a separate review of the justice system's handling of the case be conducted. Madam Speaker, I want to pay respect to Zachary's grandparents, Kate and David Bagby, who have been passionate, very passionate spokespeople for the change in the bail process and have traveled to Canada several times from their home in the United States to help keep this issue before the public. They demonstrate their love for their grandchild through the whole process. The couple traveled to Newfoundland and Labrador to be with baby Zachary while his mother was accused of murdering their son. They looked after the child for a period and had to share custody with the mother who eventually murdered their grandchild. And through all this, they continue to show their love for their grandchild and their son for fighting for changes to this legislation. I also want to commend the member for Avalon, who has brought this issue forward to the House of Commons. This case forces us to re-examine aspects of our justice system and ask how they can be improved, especially issues around detention and custody and the provision of bail for people who are charged with serious crimes. Another issue which arose in the aftermath of this case were provisions to ensure that people who are posting security for those on bail understand the process, the implications, and that they are able to meet the obligations. In Canada, there are 3 grounds for detaining an accused prior to sentence. Primary grounds involve detention to ensure the accused's attendance in court. Secondary grounds involve detention for the protection or safety of the public. A third involved the seriousness of the offense and the apparent strength of the prosecution's case, the circumstances surrounding the offense, such as if a firearm was used. Now, in retrospect, either of these grounds could have been applied to this case to keep Dr. Shirley Turner in custody. Madam Speaker, as others have said on this bill is really, Zachary's bill is really about the protection and safety of a minor, remaining in the custody of individuals charged with serious crimes, that they be considered during bail hearing proceedings. It's about judicial decision makers who must be attentive to the necessity to protect minors that remain in the custody of individuals charged with serious offenses. It's about a decision to deny bail to an accused may be appropriate for the intended protection of the rights and safety of minors in the custody of the accused. Madam Speaker, the case of Zachary Turner is by any account a tragedy almost beyond imagination. It is a case that shocks us and saddens us. It is a case that shakes our belief about human nature. If anything good can come from such a situation, it may be that we as a society can learn. We can learn from the way we failed Zachary. We can commit ourselves to making changes that will hopefully prevent such tragedies from happening again. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I ask all members to support this amendment to the Criminal Code, which will provide for justification for detention and custody in cases similar to the one I have just described. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Resuming debate.